Partnerships are where normally independent and state schools get together to devise projects involving their pupils which are going to be mutually beneficial. They do them because all the evidence shows that schools benefit greatly from working together, and it's hopeless if independent schools cut themselves off from the rest of the educational system. And over the last 20 years, many really good schools have found that their pupils have benefited from partnerships, both in the state and independent sector. There are lots of different types. Some are very big, involving literally dozens of schools. Some are very small, just a pair of schools. Some have an academic purpose, and that is they're trying to raise the academic standard of one school or another, or they might be giving university-type advice, an academic sort of project. Some are more concerned with extracurricular activities, like, for example, promoting sport or music or joint drama projects, those sort of partnerships, inviting schools to your societies, that kind of thing. Sometimes they're partnerships which are based on governance, schools lending staff to another's governing body. Quite a lot of schools or groups of schools have now got someone who's working full-time on partnerships, or maybe half their timetable, so they're professionalised. Another thing that's happened is that whereas in the early days many of the partnerships were slightly random, what could we think of that we could do together, now they tend to have very clear aims. They're specifically and increasingly trying to help the children that need help most. And finally, schools are becoming much better at doing what we call impact assessments, which is measuring the impact of the partnership on the children. It's difficult to do, but it's possible to do. And in that way, they actually have become much more effective. All these partnerships have to start really with a good relationship between two or more heads in a local area. Without that, it's unlikely to survive. So it starts slowly with a group of heads discussing their mutual interests and then going for it. Secondly, a lot hinges on having a really efficient and dedicated, committed member of staff in every school that's in the partnership, because it's quite a lot of work organising the partnership activities. After all, some of them take place on a Saturday, and many of them involve, having to book buses and transport. And they just don't work if you don't have an efficient member of staff. Thirdly, I think it is always important to say, we're going to do this partnership, but we're going to measure its impact, and therefore we need to devise a few metrics before we start. And finally, I think it's always best if you can be sure that you're identifying a group which, need help most. In the local area, they're going to promote it by doing the job well, and then publishing the impact assessment, and making sure that everyone knows about it. But in terms of promoting it to the outside world, there are two things that schools do. First of all, they put material on the Schools Together website, which everyone should be looking at anyway, because it gives you good examples. And a lot of schools increasingly are putting material on their website, in a prospectus, or even producing a specialist booklet, which tells everyone all about their partnerships. And this is Partnerships Week, as it happens this week, so we're hoping that schools will want to talk about their partnerships on social media using the hashtag Schools Together and hashtag Power of Partnerships. So put your partnership information up there and be proud of it.